The park looked peaceful under the late afternoon sun. Kids laughed. Couples walked dogs. A street musician played soft blues near the fountain. In the middle of it all, a skinny boy stood holding a red balloon with both hands like it was treasure. His shoes were worn thin. His shirt was too big, but his smile was real. That smile didn't last. A black luxury SUV rolled up along the curb, engine purring like a predator. Doors opened. Men in expensive clothes stepped out, laughing loud, careless. And then he appeared, the one people in the city called the prince. Not royalty by blood, but by money, power, and fear. Son of a billionaire developer. Untouchable. Protected. Smiling like rules didn't apply. The prince glanced at the boy's balloon and smirked. One sharp flick of his fingers, a trained attack dog lunged forward. The balloon burst with a violent pop. The boy froze. His smile vanished. His hands trembled around nothing. The park went silent. The boy dropped to his knees, staring at the torn rubber on the grass. His lip quivered. Tears rolled down his cheeks, silent at first, then broken by a soft sob. People watched, but no one stepped in. They knew who the prince was. They knew what happened to people who crossed him. The prince laughed. "Relax," he said casually. "It's just a balloon." The boy reached out, trying to gather the broken pieces like he could fix it. The prince leaned closer, his voice low and cruel. "You want another one?" he asked. Before the boy could answer, the prince nodded again. The dogs growled. Two massive, muscular animals stepped forward, teeth bared, eyes locked on the child. The boy screamed and tried to crawl back. A mother nearby covered her daughter's eyes. A man clenched his fists but stayed frozen. The prince raised his hand, enjoying the fear. That was when the rumble hit. Low, heavy, rolling like thunder, motorcycles from the far end of the park road. A line of bikes came into view, chrome flashing, engines roaring, leather vests marked with a worn but respected patch. An outlaw MC with a reputation for protecting their own and punishing evil. They weren't supposed to be here, but they were. The bikers rolled in slow, deliberate, engines idling like beasts waiting to be unleashed. At the front was a tall man with gray in his beard and scars on his knuckles. His eyes locked onto the scene instantly. The crying child, the dogs, the laughing prince. The bikers dismounted as one. The air shifted. The prince's smile faltered just a little. "Problem?" the biker leader asked calmly. The prince laughed it off. "Just playing with a kid." The biker looked down at the boy. Knees scraped, hands shaking. Fear burned deep in his eyes. "That don't look like play," the biker said. The prince's security moved forward. Hands hovered near concealed weapons. The dogs snarled louder. "You should walk away," the prince warned. "You don't know who I am." The biker leader stepped closer. "We know exactly who you are." A second biker, missing 2 fingers, military posture, spoke up. "And we know what you do to people who can't fight back." The prince's jaw tightened. "You're trespassing. This part belongs to my family." The biker leader smirked. "Funny thing about public ground. Don't belong to kings." The prince snapped his fingers again. The dogs charged. Chaos exploded. Bikers moved fast. One biker tackled the boy out of harm's way. Another swung a heavy chain, wrapping it around a dog's neck mid-lunge, slamming it into the dirt. A third biker kicked hard, sending another dog skidding across the grass. The prince shouted orders, panic creeping into his voice. Security guards pulled weapons, but froze when they saw more bikers drawing closer, forming a wall. No guns came out. This was a line neither side wanted to cross. The biker leader grabbed the prince by the collar and slammed him against the SUV. "You ever sick dogs on a kid again," he growled, "they'll be the last orders you give." The prince sneered, trying to regain control. "You touch me, my father will bury you." The biker leaned in close. "Your father already buried a lot of good people. Veterans, families, kids like him." The prince's eyes flickered. The crowd watched now. Phones recording. Fear mixed with hope. Police sirens wailed in the distance that a police cruiser arrived, but it didn't move toward the prince. It moved toward the bikers. Out stepped a senior cop with a spotless uniform and cold eyes. He nodded respectfully to the prince. "Everything under control, sir?" The prince smiled again. "These bikers attacked my dogs. The cop turned toward the bikers. Hands where I can see them. The boy whimpered, clutching the biker who protected him. The biker leader stared at the cop. You saw what happened. The cop didn't blink. I saw enough. That's when a female voice cut through the tension. No, you didn't. A woman stepped forward from the crowd, shaking but determined. She held her phone up, and neither did the cameras. She added. Dozens of phones were raised now, recording everything. The cop's face tightened. The bikers didn't move. Neither did the crowd. The biker leader spoke loudly, clear enough for everyone to hear. This kid's balloon popped, and the dogs came. That's the truth. The woman played the video. Sound echoed. Laughter, the snap of the balloon, the growl of dogs, the child screaming. The prince's face drained of color. The cops swallowed hard. Sirens grew louder. More cruisers arrived. This time, not all of them nodded to the prince that a younger officer watched the video. His jaw clenched. Sir, we need to talk. The prince backed up. You can't do this. The biker leader stepped aside, letting the law finally move. Ambulance checked the boy. He was shaken but unharmed. A biker handed him a brand new balloon. Red, just like before. The boy smiled again. The bikers stood watch as the prince was placed in cuffs, screaming threats that no one believed anymore. The corrupt cop was pulled aside, questioned, exposed. The crowd applauded. Not for the bikers, for justice. That day, a city learned something. Power doesn't make a king. Money doesn't buy honor. And when wolves wear crowns, sometimes it takes bikers, scarred, loyal, unbreakable, to remind the world who protects the innocent. The news spread fast, but truth spread faster. Morning, every screen in the city showed the same footage. The boy, the balloon, the dogs, the prince's laughter. Commentators argued. Lawyers panicked. And deep inside a glass tower downtown, the prince's father stared at the screen with a face carved from stone that he didn't see a scandal, he saw a threat. The billionaire made calls. Powerful calls. Judges, politicians, police chiefs. By noon, the story started shifting. Headlines softened. Language changed. Misunderstanding in park. Dogs startled child. Bikers involved in violent disturbance. The prince was released on bail. The biker club? Suddenly under investigation. Squad cars rolled past their clubhouse all night. Helicopters hovered. Old charges resurfaced. Paperwork became weapons. The biker leader watched the news silently. They're coming, one of the brothers said. The leader nodded. Yeah, and they're bringing hell. Across town, the boy sat in a tiny apartment with his mother. She worked 2 jobs. The balloon sat tied to a chair, slowly losing air. Fear crept back into the room, got a knock at the door. Hard. The mother opened it to find 2 men in suits. Cold smiles. Expensive watches. Your son was involved in an incident, one said. We're here to help. The boy hid behind his mother. The man leaned down. Accidents happen. Kids get hurt. Lawsuits get messy. He placed an envelope on the table. Thick. Heavy. All this goes away, he said softly. Videos disappear. Stories change. The mother's hands shook. Before she could answer, engines roared outside. The suits turned pale. The bikers stood in the hallway like a wall of steel. The leader stepped forward. Conversation's over, he said. The suits tried to protest. No one listened. The bikers escorted them out, gently but firmly. The leader knelt in front of the boy. You okay, champ? The boy nodded. You did nothing wrong, the biker said. Remember that. That night, the billionaire moved harder. A false warrant was issued. Corrupt cops surrounded the biker clubhouse. Floodlights blazed. Weapons were drawn. Come out with your hands up. The bikers stood their ground. Calm. Silent. Ready. The leader stepped out first. This is illegal. A voice shouted back. Orders from the top. Suddenly, headlights cut through the darkness. Veterans, dozens of them. Men and women wearing service jackets, medals pinned, faces stern. They formed a line between the bikers and the police. One veteran spoke. Those bikers saved my daughter once. Another added. They stood for a kid today. Cameras rolled again. Live. The police hesitated. A federal vehicle pulled in black. Unmarked. Agents stepped out. Stand down, one said. The corrupt cop from the park was already in custody, flipped for immunity. He talked, named names, exposed the machine behind the prince. The billionaire's empire started cracking. Raids followed. Accounts frozen. Warrants served. The prince was rearrested, this time on multiple charges. Abuse, coercion, use of animals as weapons. The bikers were cleared. Publicly, loudly, the boy returned to the park days later. This time, bikers stood nearby. Not threatening, just present. He released his balloon into the sky. It rose high. Free. Evil hides behind money. Justice hides in plain sight. And sometimes the loudest roar belongs to those who ride together, not for power, but for what's right. The trial drew crowds like a storm. The prince sat at the defense table, suit wrinkled, eyes hollow. No jokes, no laughter, no crown. Across the room, the boy sat with his mother, holding a small biker patch given to him for courage. The biker brotherhood F.